So I want to talk today about compassion-based mindfulness and meditation. What is compassion? In terms of a feeling, the sensation may be like feeling sad. That's a kind of compassion, but it's more related to empathy. Empathy, of course, is a good thing. It's good, but can be very draining when it's not balanced. So to master empathy is to master compassion. It's like a mirror. And what I mean by that is when somebody's in pain, the areas of the brain connected to pain begins to activate. So you feel that somebody is suffering, and now you're suffering too. It's a little bit like somebody's drowning, and I jump in, and now I'm drowning too. You have a particular brain activity, the motor cortex. It starts to activate. The motor cortex is the brain region connected with intention to act, which then activates your heart, thus having compassion. Without heart, you cannot have compassion. Okay? So say we want to cook dinner. When we set that intention and then we go do it, which is defined in the moment, you're activating those intentions. We activate the areas of the brain which will lead to action. So this will lead us to do things that benefit us, to transform us. And then we start to want to help people because we have compassion in our hearts. I'm going to show you how, through our mindfulness, we start to develop wisdom and the skills through which we can help people. This is compassion-based mindfulness. What does it mean to practice compassion in the mindfulness? And how does that relate to happiness? For me, one of the key points is whenever I sit down to practice mindfulness, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes of focused breathing, I will always start and end the session by creating a moment of compassion as an intention. So I'll sit and I'll remind myself I am doing this for the benefit of all sentient beings, not just humans, but animals too, all beings. I am doing this for their benefit, that I may help others. It's like a decision. I'm going to do this for the benefit of the world. It's just a decision that you make. Plant a seed at the start of your session. Do the session, say 10 minutes or whatever, of any meditation, any spiritual exercise of any kind. There's no limit to the range of exercises that are available, but the key point is why you're doing it. So take a few moments to energize that compassion, taking a moment to commit and dedicate. I'm dedicating the fruits of this practice to the benefit of the world, to the benefit of others. The intention is to benefit others, and you're connecting that with meditation. So the whole mixture creates a path of compassion which will become real. We will get out there and help other people in a deeper way. The other part is going to be a bit deeper. It is that the self-practicing meditation creates compassion, creates love, and builds kindness. Because when you meditate, there is a relationship with your thoughts, and that is the key. When we are relating negatively to our thoughts and emotions, we're just getting more stressed, which is building more self-disgust, self-hatred, pressure, and judgment of self. On the other hand, when we relate compassionately to our thoughts and emotions, we are building an internal training in love and kindness. So what does that mean? It means you're sitting down and meditating, and then your mind wanders, doesn't it? Then what happens? Self-judgment. I want you to just sit comfortably in your chair. I just invite you to try to be present and try to be in the moment And not in the past, not in the future, but in the moment. And just see how that goes. And see how it is. Just try that for a few moments. Okay, so maybe we need something to hold on to. So hold on to your breathing. Breathe naturally, without effort. Use that as your present moment focus, just to be connected to your breathing. Not deep breathing or slow breathing, just normal breaths. This is your present moment focus. Okay, enough. Just a quick experiment. I am hoping you discovered how kind of difficult that is. And this is where the compassion starts to work. Did you find that you kind of failed again and again? Did you recognize judgment? We are focusing on our breathing. It could be a visualization or something you're doing, and within moments, the plan fails. I mean, we had this really good intention to sit there for 5 minutes, and within about, 5 seconds, we start writing the shopping list. We start wondering what's for lunch, or I don't know, did I feed the dog today? Or I need to write that email. The mind goes all over the place. One moment you are surfing in Hawaii, the next moment you're worrying about some silly thing we think we need to do. Then, since we failed as in we have a plan to focus on our breathing. Please understand what I'm saying now implies to all meditations that whatever you're doing, visualization, breathing, anything we're trying to do, this thing which we want to be focused on, like this technique. And yeah, we kind of failed in that because within moments your mind drifts and you want to fall asleep or whatever. That right there is where many people judge themselves. And that is where, for many people, meditation is so hard. Then it becomes quite harsh and quite stressful because you start judging yourself. I think it's a really great thing to fail. I really do. Because that so-called failure shows us the human condition. It shows us how it's really, in many ways, very hard to get your mind to do what you want to do. So this is compassion. It is to realize how the mind is really difficult to tame, and we don't need to feel angry about it. Okay? That's one thing. But at a deeper level, the very fact that your mind got distracted, that is the main thing. When your mind gets distracted, you then have the chance to bring your attention back to your breathing. That is the training. That is the main thing to be doing. To be gently returning to the breath. So it's not about being in a kind of special feeling or a special experience. It is literally at that stage of awareness. Like going to the gym and lifting weights, you're training awareness. With this exercise of returning to your breathing again and again, that's a really powerful thing to learn. Because the more we return to our breathing, the more we are mastering our mind. We are learning how to not get dragged away by the thoughts, but instead coming back to the breathing. This gives us a chance to choose not to be negative towards ourselves, with developing that mental flexibility every time we notice we got lost, and gently bring our attention back to the breath. Okay? So that's what we're trying to learn, to bring it back. That's the point you go to, gently back to the breath. Then you have somewhere to return from. And if you recognize that you're learning this repeated experience of returning, something needed to take you away. So you can notice and bring it back. Those thoughts, those distractions are really helpful. They enable the returning. So it in fact helps us develop a very different relationship with our thoughts and emotions. We don't see them as a problem. We don't see them as we failed. We see them as the key to feel more at peace within the mind. Because for many people, to meditate, they get really stressed out and give up. It becomes like a thing they feel they cannot reach. People think you're supposed to be clearing your mind and blank out your mind. That's not meditation at all. It's impossible to be a blank slate. On the other hand, an exercise of gently returning to the breath again and again, then you don't feel like your thoughts were a problem, right? So actually, it's really helpful to remind yourself of that. There are 3 phases of holding compassion instead of judgment in this training. The part where you're with the breath, the part where you are noticing that you got lost on the parkway, and the part where you're gently returning. So these 3 phases: breathing, noticing, returning. Breathing, noticing, returning. So the breathing part, that's the part that most people identify as meditation, and they think that's all it is. But they maybe don't know the equally important second phase, that is noticing. That means you notice that your mind got lost. It's really interesting how that works, because when you're doing the breathing and we are aware of the breathing, it's not that we actually see ourselves going, more that we almost become unconscious. We get lost, and then a few minutes later, we get a wake-up call. Suddenly, I've gone. I'm supposed to be meditating. That's the beauty, you see? Noticing. You notice that you got lost. That noticing is a powerful moment of awareness, and that is meditation. You've regained the awareness. So that's really good. Having the wandering mind, enable that. Notice that the awareness, and of course over time, you'll be able to notice more quickly, and then returning gently, bringing your attention back. There was a study done, and they discovered to miss out on that word, that one word, gently, to just tell people to, when your mind wanders, bring your attention back to your breath, versus to tell somebody to gently bring your mind back to your breath. They discovered that the tested participants' cortisol levels in the incorrect group were much higher than the one word where the word gently was used. They had a much lower stress level because they weren't spending the whole session feeling so naughty for losing the focus on the breath. A meditation session will consist of those 3 things happening again and again and again. You can replace the breathing with whatever your technique is. Do the technique for 5-10 minutes. Just a few minutes, doesn't matter, however long. And it will consist of those 3 phases, repeated again and again and again and again. When you understand that, when your relationship with your mind completely transforms, because you stop feeling like a failure for having thoughts. You stop feeling like you've got it wrong. You enable yourself to come back. So this generates in the mind compassion. Compassion and acceptance of your own thoughts and emotions. And that changes everything. You're no longer at war with yourself. So with that in mind, this time we're going to just practice coming back. Step 1, is to be in a good posture. I encourage you to sit comfortably, lean back. I think it's really good to be sitting up straight and having your lower back supported. So if you have something to put behind your back and your low back at the base of your spine, so you have that lower back support. Your feet are flat on the ground. Your hands are palms down on the tops of your legs. Your shoulders are open and comfortable, not slouching. Slightly lengthen the back of your neck and your posture, but relaxed. Disciplined at the same time. Now have your eyes just gently open, not looking at anything, but your eyes are just left alone. Gently, softly open. Looking angled down. You're looking into space or at a spot on the carpet. Blink whenever you need to do so. Step 2 is establish compassion, which means to make a very deep intention or wish or even a prayer deep in your heart. May I meditate in order to develop more compassion and love. May this benefit all sentient beings. Step 3, feel your body. By feeling the surroundings, the chair on your backside, the floor under your feet, the contact between your body and your surroundings. Noticing is very uncomplicated. You're just sensing without thinking about it. Feel how your hands feel resting on your legs. Notice the fabric, the feeling of your clothing underneath. Connect with the sense of touch. Bring your attention up to your shoulders. Maybe they feel tense, or maybe they don't. It's okay either way. Simply be present and feel what you feel or don't feel. Bring the attention down to the front of your body, your belly, your abdomen. Step 4. Notice how your breathing makes your body move naturally. Feel how your breath makes your chest rise and fall, and your abdomen moves slightly with each breath. Just feel that rhythm. Should your mind wander, gently bring it back. Step 5. Now bring your attention up to your face. Feel the air traveling in and out of your nose. It's very natural. You're not pushing it. It's just left alone and travels up and down your nostrils. If you lose focus, we can gently reconnect. Try that for about 3 minutes. Remember to gently return. Don't fight your thoughts. Just see them as the reason why you could notice in the first place and return. Okay, now to conclude the exercise, warming down. Step 6. Focus again on your body. Feel the weight of your body on the chair. Notice your hands and fingers. Feel how your hands feel resting against your legs. Feel your feet. Feel how your feet feel on the floor. Step 7. Mentally dedicate your practice to all sentient beings. Make a wish, an intention, or a prayer. May I help others. May I bring peace, happiness, and love to the world around me. Now gently open your eyes, fully awake, fully aware. You may have discovered a few things in that session. You may have discovered it a little bit easier because we've been talking about this more compassionate attitude, that your mind is not your enemy, it isn't a failure. You may have wanted to fall asleep, and that's okay, really. The reason people are reluctant to do meditation, or they don't meditate every single day, is not it's not a natural thing. When we are starting out, our body is not used to sitting and doing nothing. To not do. Body doesn't know how to do it. What do I do with it? This stillness. Everybody associates stillness with sleep. It's like a laptop going into sleep mode when there is no activity. So to recap, in step 1, we sat in a good posture. Step 2, we established compassion. Step 3, we focused on the body. We felt the ground under our feet. Step 4, we noticed how the breath moves the body, gently undulating. Step 5, we focused on feeling the air in the nose with no judgment, just gently bringing it back. Step 6, we come to the end. We had the warming down, focusing on the body again. Step 7, setting our attention, making our wish or saying a prayer for love, peace, compassion for all sentient beings in the world. And this concludes my lesson for today. So have fun with it. Find your compassion. Use your compassion. Have compassion for yourself and compassion for others. And always remember when someone's acting out in a negative way, that's a good time to use your compassion. Have a beautiful day. I love you all.